momen spesial. Dengan bangga, peresmian Yayasan Hari Pariwisata Dunia Indonesia yang akan mengembangkan penyelenggaraan Hari Pariwisata di Indonesia. Berikut, kami perkenalkan susunan organisasi Yayasan Hari Pariwisata Dunia Indonesia. Pembina Ketua, Profesor Dr. Azril Azhari. Anggota, Dr. Martinus Joni Sugiarto. Purnomo Siswo Prasetyo Cipto. Pengurus Umum, Dr. Agus Hamdi Chani. Ketua, Martiningsi A. Chandra MSI. Dr. Santi Palupi Ariyanti. Sekretaris, Dr. Ani Wijayanti MMCHE. Bendahara, Zulfikar ST MKKK. Pengawas, Diah Puspitasari MKOM.
Stipram Yogyakarta dan World Tourism Day Indonesia mempersembahkan Gastronomy for Tourism dengan keynote speaker Madam Ningsi A. Chandra, Secretary General PATA Indonesia Chapter, bersama Profesor Asril Azhari PhD, Ambarukmo Tourism Institute Indonesia, Asisten Profesor Muhammad Fatsli bin C. Omar, UCSI University Malaysia, Mr. Zahar Ali, Saito University College Malaysia, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Eni Harmayani MSc, Gajah Mada University Indonesia, dimoderatori oleh Tutut Herawan, Ambarukmo Tourism Institute Indonesia, dengan host oleh Chef Rizky Maulana, Ambarukmo Tourism Institute Indonesia. Saksikan Selasa 21 September 2021 pukul 9 waktu Indonesia Barat live hanya di Eljon TV.
Para peserta yang berbahagia, pada hari ini Sholat tidak mau melewatkan momen spesial. Dengan bangga, peresmian Yayasan Hari Pariwisata Dunia Indonesia yang akan mengembangkan penyelenggaraan Hari Pariwisata di Indonesia. Berikut, kami perkenalkan susunan organisasi Yayasan Hari Pariwisata Dunia Indonesia. Pembina Ketua, Profesor Dr. Azril Azhari. Anggota, Dr. Martinus Joni Sugiarto. Purnomo Siswo Prasetyo Cipto. Pengurus Umum, Dr. Agus Hamdi Chani. Ketua, Martiningsi A. Chandra MSI. Dr. Santi Palupi Ariyanti. Sekretaris, Dr. Ani Wijayanti MMCHE. Bendahara, Zulfikar ST MKKK. Pengawas, Diah Puspitasari MKOM.
Stipram Yogyakarta dan World Tourism Day Indonesia mempersembahkan Gastronomy for Tourism dengan keynote speaker Madam Ningsi A. Chandra, Secretary General PATA Indonesia Chapter, bersama Profesor Asril Azhari PhD, Ambarukmo Tourism Institute Indonesia, Asisten Profesor Muhammad Fatsli bin C. Omar, UCSI University Malaysia, Mr. Zahar Ali, Saito University College Malaysia, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Eni Harmayani MSc, Gajah Mada University Indonesia, dimoderatori oleh Tutut Herawan, Ambarukmo Tourism Institute Indonesia, dengan host oleh Chef Rizky Maulana, Ambarukmo Tourism Institute Indonesia. Saksikan Selasa 21 September 2021 pukul 9 waktu Indonesia Barat live hanya di Eljon TV.
Para peserta yang berbahagia, pada hari ini Sholat tidak mau melewatkan momen spesial. Dengan bangga, peresmian Yayasan Hari Pariwisata Dunia Indonesia yang akan mengembangkan penyelenggaraan Hari Pariwisata di Indonesia. Berikut, kami perkenalkan susunan organisasi Yayasan Hari Pariwisata Dunia Indonesia. Pembina Ketua, Profesor Dr. Azril Azhari. Anggota, Dr. Martinus Joni Sugiarto. Purnomo Siswo Prasetyo Cipto. Pengurus Umum, Dr. Agus Hamdi Chani. Ketua, Martiningsi A. Chandra MSI. Dr. Santi Palupi Ariyanti. Sekretaris, Dr. Ani Wijayanti MMCHE. Bendahara, Zulfikar ST MKKK. Pengawas, Diah Puspitasari MKom.
Stipram Yogyakarta dan World Tourism Day Indonesia mempersembahkan Gastronomy for Tourism dengan keynote speaker Madam Ningsi A. Chandra, Secretary General PATA Indonesia Chapter, bersama Profesor Asril Azhari PhD, Ambarukmo Tourism Institute Indonesia, Asisten Profesor Muhammad Fatsli bin C. Omar, UCSI University Malaysia, Mr. Zahar Ali, Saito University College Malaysia, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Eni Harmayani MSc, Gajah Mada University Indonesia, dimoderatori oleh Tutut Herawan, Ambarukmo Tourism Institute Indonesia, dengan host oleh Chef Rizky Maulana, Ambarukmo Tourism Institute Indonesia. Saksikan Selasa 21 September 2021 pukul 9 waktu Indonesia Barat live hanya di Eljon TV.
Para peserta yang berbahagia, pada hari ini Solat tidak mau melewatkan momen spesial. Dengan bangga, peresmian Yayasan Hari Pariwisata Dunia Indonesia yang akan mengembangkan penyelenggaraan Hari Pariwisata di Indonesia. Berikut, kami perkenalkan susunan organisasi Yayasan Hari Pariwisata Dunia Indonesia. Pembina Ketua, Profesor Dr. Azril Azhari. Anggota, Dr. Martinus Joni Sugiarto. Purnomo Siswo Prasetyo Cipto. Pengurus Umum, Dr. Agus Hamdi Chani. Ketua, Martiningsi A. Chandra MSI. Dr. Santi Palupi Ariyanti. Sekretaris, Dr. Ani Wijayanti MMCHE. Bendahara, Zulfikar ST MKKK. Pengawas, Diah Puspitasari MKom.
Ini pakai laptop atau pakai? Oh.
Stipram Yogyakarta dan World Tourism Day Indonesia mempersembahkan Gastronomy for Tourism dengan keynote speaker Madam Ningsi A. Chandra, Secretary General PATA Indonesia Chapter, bersama Profesor Asril Azhari PhD, Ambarukmo Tourism Institute Indonesia, Asisten Profesor Muhammad Fatsli bin C. Omar, UCSI University Malaysia, Mr. Zahar Ali, Saito University College Malaysia, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Eni Harmayani MSc, Gajah Mada University Indonesia, dimoderatori oleh Tutut Herawan, Ambarukmo Tourism Institute Indonesia, dengan host oleh Chef Rizky Maulana, Ambarukmo Tourism Institute Indonesia. Saksikan Selasa 21 September 2021 pukul 9 waktu Indonesia Barat live hanya di Eljon TV.
Para peserta yang berbahagia, pada hari ini Solat tidak mau melewatkan momen spesial. Dengan bangga, peresmian Yayasan Hari Pariwisata Dunia Indonesia yang akan mengembangkan penyelenggaraan Hari Pariwisata di Indonesia. Berikut, kami perkenalkan susunan organisasi Yayasan Hari Pariwisata Dunia Indonesia. Pembina Ketua, Profesor Dr. Azril Azhari. Anggota, Dr. Martinus Joni Sugiarto. Purnomo Siswo Prasetyo Cipto. Pengurus Umum, Dr. Agus Hamdi Chani. Ketua, Martiningsi A. Chandra MSI. Dr. Santi Palupi Ariyanti. Sekretaris, Dr. Ani Wijayanti MMCHE. Bendahara, Zulfikar ST MKKK. Pengawas, Diah Puspitasari MKom.
Stipram Yogyakarta dan World Tourism Day Indonesia mempersembahkan Gastronomy for Tourism dengan keynote speaker Madam Ningsi A. Chandra, Secretary General PATA Indonesia Chapter, bersama Profesor Asril Azari PhD, Ambarukmo Tourism Institute Indonesia, Asisten Profesor Muhammad Fadzli bin C. Omar, UCSI University Malaysia, Mr. Zahar Ali, Saito University College Malaysia, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Eni Harmayani MSc, Gajah Mada University Indonesia, dimoderatori oleh Tutut Herawan, Ambarukmo Tourism Institute Indonesia, dengan host oleh Chef Rizky Maulana, Ambarukmo Tourism Institute Indonesia. Saksikan Selasa 21 September 2021 pukul 9 waktu Indonesia Barat live hanya di Eljon TV.
About to begin. Please have a nice seat and thank you for preparing yourself to join our international webinar. I would like to inform you and remind you that you have to turn on your video camera and please turn the audio into silent mode. Please to make sure that your gadget also in a silent mode. Anyway, for your information, this international webinar is participated by more than 838 participants based on registered participants, and also more than 72 institutions who has already joined with us. Wow, such a huge number. Give applause to all of the participants and also for Stipram. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to begin. So I would like to remind you for one more time to make sure that you have to turn on your camera and also turn the audio into silent mode and make sure that your gadget also in a silent mode. Thank you. Okay, so let's begin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, salam sehat, salam Indonesia maju, penuh semangat. The Honorable Dr. Suhendroyono, SH, MMM Par CHE CGSP, as the Chairman of Stipram, Madam Martiningsih Agung Chandra, MSI, as the Secretary of Pacific Asia Travel Association Indonesia Chapter, Mr. Zahar Ali from Saito University, Malaysia, Associate Professor Muhammad Fadzli bin C. Omar from University College Sedaya International, Malaysia, Profesor Dr. Asril Azari, PhD from Ambarukmo Tourism Institute Yogyakarta, Indonesia, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Eni Harmayani, MSc from Gajah Mada University, Indonesia, and respectable all delegates, lecturer, students, and the audience here that we are proud of. Well, my name is Rizky. I'm contestant of MasterChef Indonesia Season 5. I'm also an assistant of training officer in Stipram and also your master of ceremony today. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. As we know that this event is a part of a series of Stipram 20th anniversary and of course jointly organized by the Academic Division Stipram, the Research and Technology Division of Stipram, and also Stipram Office of International Affairs. One more time, I would like to inform you that this international webinar is participated by more than 838 participants based on registered participant and also more than 72 institutions who has already joined with us. One more time, give applause to Stipram and also for all of the participants. Thank you. And also, I would like to inform you that this international webinar you can watch by live streaming on Eljon TV. Just go directly type www.eljon.tv and you can join with us. Eljon TV is the one and only tourism television in Indonesia. We would like to say thank you to Eljon TV for supporting us. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let us raise our praise and gratitude to God who has been giving us guidance, happiness, healthy, and mercy so we can all gather here and participate in this international webinar without any obstacles. Also, I would like to say hello to all of the participants. We congratulate to all the webinar participants. Thank you for joining us through the Zoom application. Hopefully, this webinar can run smoothly and we all get tremendous benefit through this webinar. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin this event, let us pray together. May God make this event beneficial for all of us and this event can run smoothly and conductively. Let's pray. Begin. Finish? Well, on this special morning, we have several agendas, so allow me to read several sequence of our agenda. The first is the opening, which we previously read together. The second is the singing of the national anthem, Indonesia Raya. The third is the welcoming remarks from the chairman of Stipram. And the fourth is the keynote speech by PATA, Pacific Asia Travel Association Indonesia chapter. And the fifth is the presentation by the four invited speakers. And the sixth is question and answer session. And the last is closing. One more time, just to remind you that you can watch this webinar. And also, this webinar is fully supported by Eljon TV. You can access this webinar by directly going to the www.eljon.tv so you can join with us. Thank you, Eljon TV, for supporting us. Well, ladies and gentlemen, step on to the following agenda is the singing of the national anthem. All the participants, please be kindly to take your seats properly to sing and listen to our national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Thank you to all of the participants. Well, before we step on to the next agenda, I would like to inform you that I just got update from the participant. Right now, the total of participants just 941 participants. Give applause to Stipram and also all of the other participants. Thank you. The next agenda is an opening speech by the chairman of Ambarukmo Tourism Institute, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. I immediately invite Dr. Suhendroyono, SH, MMM Par CHE, CGSP. Time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Our Honorable Speaker, Madam Martiningsih Agung Chandra, MSc, Secretary General Pata Indonesian Chapter. Our distinguished speaker, Professor Asril Asyari, PhD, from Sekolah Tinggi Pariwisata Ambarukmo Stipram, Yogyakarta. Mr. T.S. Sahara Ali, from Saito University College, Malaysia. Professor Dr. Insinyur Eni Harmayani, MSc, from Gajah Mada University, Indonesia. And Assistant Professor Muhammad Fazli bin Cek Omar from UGSE University, Malaysia. Our supporting sponsor, Aljun TV, Pata Indonesian Chapter, ISP, and Hirdikti. Our supporting institution, Bina Sarana Informatika University, Podomoro University, Pancasila University, Trisakti Tourism Institute, Pelita Harapan University, Swiss German University, Institut Pariwisata dan Bisnis Internasional Bali, Presiden University, Udayana University, Bina Nusantara University, Gunadarma University, Setiami Jakarta, and Universitas Gajah Mada Yogyakarta, as well our beloved participant. First of all, let us praise and thank Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for the abundance of His grace and guidance, so that today we can meet up at the second edition of Stipram International Webinars. On this auspicious occasion, we would like to congratulate the organization of the Stipram International Webinar 2021 with the theme Gastronomy for Tourism. This webinar is collaboration between the Research and Technology Division with the Academic Division and Office of International Affairs of Stipram, as well as support from several partner sponsors. This webinar is motivated from the fact that COVID-19 pandemic has changed tourism trends, where tourists are now paying more attention to aspects of cleanliness, health, sanitation, and environment sustainable. Reporting from the summary of the United Nations Tourism Organization, UNWTO, gastronomic tourism is a trip is an area that is associated with food as a recreational destination. The development of gastronomic tourist trends is in line with awareness of consuming healthy food. Experiential gastronomic tourists not only enjoying the taste of food dishes. To gain more information about the history, culture, and daily practices of the people of an area, so that the food is created. Therefore, this wider definition also makes the concept of culinary tourism more flexible. Visitors can travel in agriculture areas because they have history, quality processed foods, and are associated with other tourist activities. Ladies and gentlemen, for your kind information, that this webinar participants come from 3 countries: Indonesia, Timor-Leste, and Malaysia. We thank again for keynote speakers, invite speakers, participants, and sponsor for supporting Stipram webinar 2021, and we wish you happy, healthy, and enjoy all programs. Therefore, by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, the Stipram International Webinar Activity with the theme Gastronomy for Tourism, I officially open it. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi Santi Om. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Mr. Suhendroyono for the opening speech. Before we continue to the next agenda, I would like to remind you that you have to turn on your video camera and please turn the audio into the silent modes and make sure that your gadgets also in a silent mode. Thank you. The next is the core of the event, the international webinar Gastronomy for Tourism, which will be delivered by the keynote speaker and the invited speakers, and will be guided by the moderators. But first, we will introduce our moderators today. His name is Professor Tutut Herawan, PhD, or usually called Mr. Tom, right?
Yeah, correct.
Mr. Tutut Herawan is an academic staff at the Ambarukmo Tourism College. He works as Associate Professor in the Department of Information System, Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology, University of Malaya. He received his PhD in Information Technology in 2010 from University Tun Hussein on Malaysia. He is a visiting researcher at the Parallel and Distributed Computing Research Lab, Deakin University, Australia. He has more than 17 years of experience as academic staff and has mentored more than 15 masters and PhD in Indonesia. Now, he is the head of Stipram Research and Technology Department. His teaching and research fields are IT for tourism, data science, information system, and entrepreneurship. So let's begin, Mr. Tom. Time is yours.
I thanks very much my best colleague, Mr. Rizky Maulana, Chef Rizky, yeah, we call it Chef Rizky, I'm sorry. I just want to inform of you, ladies and gentlemen, all my beloved students from Indonesia, Timor-Leste, and Malaysia, that Chef Rizky is the best 16 of the, what is it, we call it the Indonesia
Master Chef.
Yeah, Indonesia Master Chef.
Yeah, thank you so much.
5, yeah. So we are very good fortunate to have him as our Master of Ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to attract your attention, please, because our main program of this webinar is about to begin. Please have a nice seat and just relax, and then I cordially remind you to turn off your device, microphone, and always on your camera. Okay? Thank you very much for preparing yourself to join this main session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning, everyone. Respectable the chairman of Stipram, Bapak Dr. Suhendroyono. I thank so much, Pak Hendro, for your support. Yeah, the honorable keynote speaker, Madam Ningsi, our invited speaker, Professor Azril, Professor Maya from Gajah Mada University, my Assistant Professor Fazli C. Omar, my neighbor campus ya, from University College Sedaya International, UCSI Malaysia, dan the last one adalah Professor Mr. Zahar bin Ali from Saito University in Malaysia. I am Tutut Herawan. You can call me Mr. Tom. Normally in Malaysia and University of Malaya, people call me Dr. Tom. I am the academic member of Stipram, and I am the moderator of the today webinar. I am very pleased to see you here, and I warmly welcome to all of you to this webinar. Today's webinar is about gastronomy for tourism. As already announced by Chef Rizky, the total participant today register is more than 900. Yeah. Those already joined to the Zoom platform is about 400 something. The rest, I believe, they follow us on the www.ljon.tv, and the rest they follow on the YouTube streamings under the Stipram official. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a keynote and 4 invited speakers today. I mentioned earlier to all of you. Before the presentation from them begins, let me inform you on how the presentation will be going on. Firstly, the keynote speaker and invited speaker will be given the allocation time is about 15 to 20 minutes to all of them, and following by question and answer sessions, and close by the conclusions. Before we start the keynote speaker, I would like to read the short biography of our keynote speaker. Okay. Our keynote speaker today is Madam Martiningsih Agung Chandra, MSI. I already make the screen in the full screen. I think, okay, thank you. The current appointment of Madam Ningsih is the Secretary Pacific Asia Travel Association, Indonesia chapter. Madam Ningsih education background, Bachelor of Science from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, the United States of America in 1983. Certificate or diploma from School of Travel Industry from the University of Hawaii, where Madam Ningsih received a scholarship from the PATA Foundation, and Master of Arts in Communication from LSPR Jakarta, London School of Public Relations in 2007. Madam Ningsih managed also to receive a scholarship from the LSPR. From the professional career, Madam Ningsih started in 1983, where she has been the public relations executive, consultant, and manager in many institutions and companies. Madam Ningsih also a freelance marketing, public relation consultant special in hospitality and tourism. Madam Ningsih also a recipient of many awards, including the best thesis advisor in 2012 from postgraduate program in LSPR Jakarta. Madam Ningsih also acted as a guest speaker, a committee presenter of many national and international seminar and conferences in local and overseas. Without any further ado, I would like to call Madam Martiningsih Agung Chandra. The time is yours. Please, Madam.
Okay, Mr. Tutut. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, fellow participants, and all the speakers. First of all, before we start, allow me to mention briefly that the Stipram International Webinar is conducted as part of the celebration of World Tourism Day 2021, which will be held on the 27th of September 2021. And the theme of this year's as a global theme is Tourism for Inclusive Growth, while Indonesia World Tourism Day chose the theme Indonesia Rural Tourism Alive, because we want the village tourism to be able to develop during this pandemic area. Now, as you may see in the beginning, before we start the event, a video of the establishment or the launch of World Tourism Day Foundation was done in 2020, 2020. Now, let me begin my presentation by mentioning briefly gastronomy. What is gastronomy tourism, or gastronomy in tourism, or gastronomy for tourism? Is actually a part of tourism. Is described as the style of cooking of a particular region or destination in a certain country. And also is a part of cultural expressions and the world's cultural diversity. Now, gastronomy is not just the good art of presenting the dishes or the food, but is also considered the study of food and culture. And sustainable gastronomy is linked with sustainable development in tourism because it promotes food security, agricultural development, sustainable food production, nutrition, and conservation of biodiversity. Gastronomy tourism also refers to the trip made to the destination where the local food and beverages as the main motivating factors to travel. Now, sustainable gastronomy means food also takes into account where it's come from, how did it arrive in your table, and how does it grow the ingredients of the food. Now, I would like to share with you, excuse me, please, next slide. Next slide. Is the next slide? Now, this is what I had just explained. And let me briefly show the video about the wonderful gastronomy in Indonesia. Please show the video.
Fresh food. Fresh from the ocean. Cleaned and baked instantly. And served straight to your table. Inspired by its astounding nature and culture. Ready to be explored in a mouth-watering journey. Step out of your comfort zone. Experience the delightful taste of Indonesia. Enjoy familiar dishes in not-so-familiar environments. From healthy breakfasts, exotic fruit juice, to traditional brunch, lunch at the sea. Many do, where eating a fare goes from day to late at night. Nice surprises. The common corn. The not-so-common fried duck. All presented in style. Exploring street food. A great way to get together for a fun time. An Indonesian favored pastime with an endless array of local cuisine. Some spicy, others savory. Mixed and matched to the preferences of each and every patron. Of course, Indonesia has also its own brand of fine dining. Origins are obvious, but it is the adaptation, the blending of international and local cultures that keep gourmets coming back for more. Simply serving the best of two worlds.
Okay, let's look at the brief overview that Indonesia has around 5,350 traditional recipes. Next slide, please. And also includes rice, noodle, and soup. Indonesian cuisine varies by region and has many influences. Among others for centuries is foreign contacts such as Indian traders, Chinese migrants, and Dutch colonials. Indonesian gastronomy also consists more than 77 sources of carbohydrates, more than 400 types of fruits, more than 270 kinds of vegetables, and of course, lots more spices. Now, this is why Indonesia is also considered as the biggest gastronomy kitchen in the world, according to Professor Murjiati Garjito, who is also a researcher, developers, and conservationist of Indonesian culinary. Now, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, of course, we have seen interruption of the global food chain via shortages and panic buying. And we have also witnessed the devastating effects the virus has had on many businesses. Now, but remember that apart from gastronomy tourism, there is also a factor of sustainability. Please, next slide. The element of sustainability, next slide, please, is very important. Sustainability gastronomy tourism has 5 sustainability impacts on the destination of tourist area. These impacts include development of lifestyle, development of products and souvenirs, products to be developed as souvenirs, special food, maintaining culture and history, fostering storytelling approach from the food itself, and as well as development of nutritional and health level. That's why gastronomy is considered as an integral of tourism. It is not just a food, but it's also an expression of culture and history of the place. Sustainability not just about cooking, but there is an important element of history behind the food and the cooking style, preserved in the old ways, which inherited from older generation to the younger generation. Next slide, please. Now, that's why UNWTO or UNESCO, United Nations, also declare there is a Sustainable Gastronomy Day every 18th of June. Now, the declaration was made during the General Assembly in December 2016. And one of the cities that was chosen recently on 31st October 2017 was Macau. Macau was chosen alongside with 25 other cities across the world, which hold elite destination of UNESCO Creative City of Gastronomy. According to MGTO or Macau Government Tourism Office, an important factor for the selection of Macau was not the impression of the number of Michelin stars, but nearly 500 years of food culture and culinary legacy. Now, the food in Macau is a mixture of Portuguese and Chinese, and commonly known as a Macanese food. Now, amongst the chosen creative city in the past, there are also 2 creative cities of gastronomy in China, namely Chengdu, that was chosen in 2010, regarded as the epicenter of Sichuan cooking, and listed as the first city in China to establish a tea and culture center, and also to open a food museum. The second city in China was Chengdu in 2014, recognized as the culinary innovation in addition to cooking tradition in Cantonese style. Now, the first city to be named as the Creative City of Gastronomy was in 2005 in Colombia, the city named Popayan. Now, please show the video. I would like to show the video of gastronomy in Macau that was chosen part of Sustainable Gastronomy Day. Or simply abbreviated as SGD. Please not mistaken with Sustainable Development Goals or S.
Food is really an extension or an expression of the culture, the history of a place. Macau has now been designated as a UNESCO Creative City of Gastronomy since 2017. The City of Gastronomy designation has helped to put Macau on the map in terms of gastronomy.
Sustainability is not only about cooking. There's also an element of heritage. It preserves the old ways, the heritage, so everything is not just changed into something new. To preserve our heritage in recipes, we also need to keep the recipes that is passed down from families to families or from chefs to chefs, yeah?
Sustainable gastronomy, by definition, you have to make the ingredients, you have to make the cooking, you have to make the culture survive and go on into the future and also make it continue to be relevant. Innovation is also important.
Okay, next slide, please. Now, as you may be aware that Indonesian also has a community as part of development of gastronomy in Indonesia. And this group of people who are concerned and care and willing to develop the tradition of gastronomy or cuisine in Indonesia, they call themselves the Indonesian Gastronomy Community. Please let me show you a brief video about this community. Okay, so now the challenge is for us, the Indonesian people who would like to develop gastronomy of Indonesia as part of an integral part of tourism. It is good for us to be able to sit down with the local community and review how we can manage to develop the traditional food and also a mixture or the fusion that can be adjusted to the international visitors. I think that's all from me. And if there's any question or comments, please free to put in the chat. Thank you very much. And thank you and enjoy the webinar.
Presentation. Thank you very much, Madam Ningsi, for giving us such informative and interesting presentation. What can I draw a conclusion, a very short conclusion from your presentation? That Madam Ningsi already presented the rudimentary about what is gastronomy, gastronomy tourism, gastronomy for tourism, and tourism gastronomy. She has also highlighted there is about more than 5,000 regional recipes in Indonesia, and Madam Ningsi presented what is actually the gastronomy as an integral part of food, which both of them cannot be separate each other. Madam Ningsi highlight also, it is not only that gastronomy is just a food, but also an expression of culture and history of food. I thank you very much, Madam Ningsi Agus Chandra, for your nice presentation this morning. Before I continue to the presentation of the invited speaker, I would like to present a certificate for Madam Ningsi. Give me another 1 minute to prepare the. Okay. Yeah. This is the presentation I already make in the full screen. Please give me another a few seconds.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Mr. Tutut.
Yeah, I thank so much, Madam Ningsih Agung Chandra. So the soft file of the certificate or maybe the hard copy will be sent to you by my colleague, Professor Tony Hendratono. Thank you very much, Madam Ningsih.
Thank you.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we already joined the presentation by our distinguished keynote speaker, Madam Ningsih. So now we have the 4 invited speakers. I would like to call the first one is Professor Azril Azahari. Good morning, Professor Azri. Are you joined to our event already? Hello, Professor Azri. Good morning, Prof. Azril. Hello, can you hear me, Prof. Azril? Okay, because just now I received the information that Professor Azril Azahari joined the Bapak Dr. Sandiaga Uno, our Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy. Hello, good morning, Prof. Azril.
Yes, morning.
Okay.
I can.
Okay, thanks so much. I received the information from Bu Ami. So, are you willing to present your presentation for the first session, right? Hello? Hello, Professor.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Are you
I
ready
will,
for the
I will, because just a few minutes, the minister will be arrive in here, but we will discuss it because I am directly in the remote area, in Papua. It's the Yoboy village area close. This is a very, very remote area because this is in the back. My back is the all of the Papua.
Yeah, we
okay.
saw that.
We can presentation. I think can, but in the I have already sent the paper, the presentation, and then we can discuss. I think. Yes. Can you just present my papers, please?
Yes, Prof. Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. Azril. I already received your presentation material. So now I will present. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Pak. Sorry, because I'm not in the office because in the remote area in the village because I'm joined with the Minister of the Tourism and the Creative Economy, and then just surrounding me is a lot of the people here from the. As you see that all people from the Yoboy village.
Okay.
Here they can waiting for them like to present the cultures.
Okay, Professor.
Yeah. Discuss about what is the gastronomy. I think you know already is the gastronomy itself. And then after that, we can discuss the gastronomy tourism. And then later I will discuss about what is the shifting the tourism paradigm in the world. And then what is the health tourism, etc. I think it's no. You're next. I think yes.
Yes, I already go to next
slide. The gastronomy itself is the science and the art of the cook, or we can say there is the reason knowledge. I'm still with the mask. Sorry, because there is all the surrounding is the crowded areas. So the first is the reason knowledge. Yes,
Yes.
that is what we eat, and then how we eat, and then what we eat is the more on the physical chemicals, and then how we eat is the with the cultural and also with the social economic itself. All things this is with the gastronomy. So next, I think we can go to the tourism. Yes, next again.
Yeah, I already go to next slide,
With
Prof.
the gastronomy tourism. Yeah, this is just explanation. And then the gastronomy tourism.
Okay.
Next.
I already
yes,
go.
With the type of the gastronomy itself, we can make the food, and also with the between the traveling itself, we can go in the areas. In this area, in the Papua, there's a lot of the, the local food and the local culinary, and then we can make gastronomy because they eat not rice, they eat the sagu, pepeda. I think pepeda is more on the native, the original for the carbohydrate. They can eat the papeda, and also with a lot of the fish itself. So for the nutrition, it's very good. So this is what we call the gastronomy tourism. We can go during the traveling, and then we can get all with our related product and also related our activities. This is what means the gastronomy tourism itself. And then the food itself, next. If we are talking about the next with the food, is the people. Next, please.
Yes, I already go to next slide, Prof. Unfortunately, the computer.
Next slide, please. People. This is the oldest Indonesia, and then there is a location itself. Now, next, please. Next, yes, this is what is the food seller. And then next again, this is, already is the food. Next with the shifting of the paradigm, the tourism paradigm.
Okay.
Next.
Yes.
Next again, yes, next.
Yeah.
Shifting, okay, next.
Yeah, this one, the shifting tourism paradigm already, bro. Okay. Yeah.
Next, yes, this is the what I say. Before 1980, there is, most on our tourism is the paradigm is more the quantitative or quantitative tourism, or we can call the mass tourism, where we can see sun, sand, and sea. There's a lot of the mass tourism. But 1980 up to the 2000, they become the alternative tourism. Before with the qualitative tourism. Now, 20 up to the 2020, there is now already the quality tourism. But 2000 or we can 2020 or 2019, there is the crisis, the pandemic crisis come. Now there is a problem. So I can say that is the quality tourism again. Our paradigm is shifting directly to the what I call customized tourism. There is the tourism is more on the customized, more on the personalized, more on the localized, and also more on the sanitized. Based on the tourism paradigm, this also change for our gastronomy tourism itself. So this is what I said. What is the meaning of the customized tourism? This more sanitized, more on the special interest, is more on the science and technology. So in the next of our tourism, there is a lot of the science and technology could be adopted in our gastronomy itself. Since the gastronomy is the science and also as well as the arts cooking also. This is a lot of the we can make, for the science itself, there is more on the research come to the gastronomy itself. The Indonesian gastronomy also, they can go further for that and more healthy. So we Indonesia also as well as in Malaysia, this is also we have the what they call the slow food. Slow food is very good, not the fast food. So because please do not using the fast food because the slow food is very good because they're starting fast by slow, and then there is all our nutrition is still there. Now this is what I call this the more on the spiritual interest and also with the spiritual healthy, and then our nutrition also can come. For example, in rendang. Next, I think. Please. Our rendang, we have the tasty, healthy, and also the this is our, what I said, more on the vitamin, and then good for that. And then, sorry, it is very crowded because in the back, my back is the minister come already. I learn more on the gastronomy itself in the remote area. It's more on the local in the Papua. Papua is the close very the PNG, Papua New Guinea. But all the culture, because if we are talking about the gastronomy itself, not the culture, but we have to keep it also the nutrition, the healthy, and then all the in the more the special interest, and then for the health, for our also for the tasty, healthy, and also we can make our beauty. This is our go to the next Indonesian more local. But sorry, because this is very crowded and then the sounding is not very good. Sorry about that. And also I just using my fit clothes. And then maybe next we can have discuss for this and it. And then later if we have discussion, I think we can discuss. So this is more on the tasty. We have the healthy, and then you are become beauty. This is more on the science and technology itself. This is one report from me in the field in the rural area. This is remote rural areas. We can just develop the tourism village as our desa wisata. So we develop now because our minister also give the award to all the 50 village tourism village throughout Indonesia. Also give the award to them, and then to develop all things about this, including also for the gastronomy and culinary itself, but more on the local wisdom. This is MC because there is I think in my back a lot of the people they just for the visiting like to meet our minister itself. Thank you once again. Thank you, but sorry about I just reported in the level. So this is the nutrition itself. Nah? So I can say rendang. Rendang is also very good because CNN also developed known as the more popular food in the world since 2017. This declare CNN about because according to my lab for our nutrition, the rendang is also very except you use it directly, because if we say tomorrow then we cook again. This is you do not that. So please just keep it and then you can eat directly. Okay, go ahead, Pak.
Yeah, Prof.
This is the one our rendang is become the international. I just promote it as the food diplomacy. This is our also terminology from the gastronomy as for the gastronomy diplomacy to our outside of the Indonesia. We are diplomacy not in the economic, not in the political, but in the food, and also as well as in our gastronomy itself. So this is just my presentation that because the gastronomy itself is a lot of things to be done. So this is all things about the gastronomy itself. Please, Pak, next, Pak.
Already,
this is next.
Yeah, already, bro. Please be wait, bro.
Yeah, next, Pak. Just my closing remarks. I think this is this is for the gastronomy itself. We have the step to develop also in Indonesia. So I think this is the idea. So become all the gastronomy tourism we develop now is the gastronomy tourism around in Indonesia. Thank you, Pak. Again, once again we meet in Yogyakarta. I think we can discuss more. And then thank you, Ban. Sorry, this is just very crowded in the field level. So it's Desa Wisata Joe Boy in Papua. Thank you once again. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Azril Azhari. Yeah, we recognize that you are now in the Papua. Please don't forget to send our salam from the Ambarukmo Tourism Institute and all the webinar participants to Bapak Menteri, Bapak Dr. Sandiaga Uno. Please send our salam to him, Prof. Azril. Please send our salam.
Oh yes,
salam,
yes. Thank you. I will because because there's still discussion, and then I will give your salam from the Malaysia, also from all the people there, and then I will give to them. Okay, to him, and then because a lot of the things they like to also visit our gastronomy special in Papua itself. Okay, I will. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Azril Azhari, presenting from the Papua, the eastern part of Indonesia. Professor Azhari already presented the gastronomy for tourism, starting the shifting paradigm of the gastronomy tourism as an alternative tourism. He has also presented the combination of the science, the technology, the food science, including the health food, boosting your immunity through the safe food. And also the last one, he presented the practical guides for tourism destination related to development of gastronomy tourism. Thank you very much, Professor Azril Azhari. Bye-bye, Professor Azril. Before I continue to the second invited speaker, I would like to present the certificate for Professor Azril Azhari.
Yeah, thank you. Once again, thank you.
Yeah, this is the certificate for Professor Azhari. We will send directly to you via post and also electronic mail. Thank you, Professor. Okay. Once more, please give applause to Professor Azhari. Okay. Thank you, Professor Azhari. The next presenter is our second invited speaker is Professional Technology, TS, Mr. Zahar bin Ali from Saito University College in Malaysia. Before I call the Mr. Zahar, I would like to present the short biography. Okay. As we can see in the screen, ladies and gentlemen, all the participants, I will go through very fast. Mr. Zahar bin Ali. Okay, please be wait for another few seconds. Yeah, I already, but sometimes the computer respond a bit slow. Apa kabar, Mr. Zahar?
Kabar baik, Dr. Tom.
Yeah, I stayed in Malaysia for many years. I was working in the University of Malaya in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Yeah, so how was the Malaysia today, Dr. Zahar?
Alhamdulillah, today is very nice and sunny.
Okay. First of all, I would like to say selamat and congratulations for your new Prime Minister, Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, that is only the Mukaddimah, Mr. Zahar Ali. Ladies and gentlemen, all the participants, I would like to read the short biography of Professional Technologies, TS, Mr. Zahar bin Ali. The current appointment of Mr. Zahar is the Director of Operation and Special Project at Saito Education Group in Malaysia. His educational background, he received a double bachelor degree. The first one from Baptist College at Carrollton, United States of America in 1983. The second bachelor degree from Gannon University in Pennsylvania, United States in America in 1986. Mr. Zahar received a master degree from Roosevelt University in Chicago, United States of America in 1988. And I'm not sure, maybe Mr. Zahar already finished the PhD from ASIAE University in Malaysia. So we pray together for your PhD, Mr. Zahar.
Thank you, inshallah, this year.
Yeah, Amin. Mr. Zahar, professional and academic experiences. He has many experiences in the field of tourism and hospitality, including a general manager of Sempurna Resort Kuantan, Sendirian Berhad in Pahang, Malaysia, and also Centuria Theme Parks and Resort Sendirian Berhad in Pahang, also in Malaysia. From the academic experience, Mr. Zahar bin Ali also is the chief operating officer of East West College, Malaysia, the director of the institutional segment of Inti Education Group in Malaysia, and CEO, principal of Imperial Academy of Tourism, Sendirian Berhad. That is the short biography of Mr. Zahar bin Ali. Without any further ado, I'd like to call Mr. Zahar. I will be the operator of your slide, Mr. Zahar, so don't worry. Give me another 1 minute to prepare.
Yang jelas.
Yes, please, Mr. Zahar.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Tom, and also congratulations to Mas Rizky on the achievement in Master Chef Indonesia, as what you had mentioned earlier. Assalamualaikum and very good morning. I would also like to take an opportunity to wish Stipram the happy 20th anniversary. Congratulations to Pak Dr. Suhendroyono and the team of Stipram, and wish many more years to come, and Stipram will live to its motto, we are not the first, but the best, inshallah. So, okay, on the next page, when we talk about gastronomy for tourism, during the COVID-19 pandemic outlook, during the lockdown, right, many of the workers and industries deemed essential to the country that were involved in the food system or even a food circle of the food supply chain, which involving in growing the food, processing the food, transporting the food from one to another point, and of course, even selling the food itself, right? So these are actually also so-called the essential service, also the frontliners to the people in each country or even the region, right? The hospitality and restaurant sector face a very severe restriction in trading until pandemic is off or even lift out in certain countries. And of course, hospitality and tourism were affected the most during this pandemic. The industry has shown a bleak for the future. We see a lot of restaurants, even hotel closed down during the pandemic. But when we talk about gastronomy, tourism, we actually looking into two main sectors, the food itself, and of course the tourism, which both plays a very critical to the most countries' economy, right? And a lot of countries are depending on these two sectors, the food and tourism. So everywhere there is a growing potential for food tourism experiences, particularly for the domestic market. Perception of local food as tourist experience has been influenced by several factors, which including the experiences of lockdown, because during lockdown, we were expected that the food being prepared and also delivered to our doorstep, right? Because we are not able to go out. So most of the food are ordered through online. And also there are growing awareness of sustainability and ethical concern around food production practices, meaning people now are looking for much more healthier foods, right? When we talk about food safety, people are more concerned. Right? It also a rise of many culinary experience and creation from global being introduced to local market. In street of Kuala Lumpur, for example, you can see a lot of Korean food, takoyaki, Japanese food can be seen all over the places. I'm very sure in the street of Jakarta as well, right? So this is basically a global gastronomy experience that can be found locally. Right? All tourists have to eat, but not all tourists are food tourists. There are two different things. People go for leisure, and of course they have to have an experience of either the local or international food of each country they went to. But at the same time, they're so-called a food tourist, where they look for especially meals that are well known at every state or even local or even regional. Food tourism defines a visitation to primary and secondary producers, food festivals, restaurant, or even like I said earlier, a specific location and or experiencing the attribute of specialist food production region in the primary, which motivating the factor for travel, right? Youngster now call it foodication, right? Referring to travel or vacation for food. They visited the region or location of selling food and they try and they share in their media social. Participation and interest in food tourism has been growing globally. We can see now many channels being created in media social, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. Food tourism experience provide the opportunity to add value to the food or drink product so that the purchase of food and drink becomes a memento of the experience of the visitation or tourism. Right? For food tourists, whether they are international or domestic tourists or visitors on extended stay in a region or even a shorter excursion, food experience offer the opportunity to try, to taste new product and learn about the food source and history, right? Even the traditional, the local culture, and also the contemporary production of new food practices, right? And that's why the policy makers, the tourism industry stakeholders, and see a huge potential in this. That's why food festivals such as like on the top left there, actually Taste of Chicago, it draws about 3 million visitors and also over more than 200 menu items, right? And on the top right, that actually the Salon de Chocolat from France, they held it every year. They even now franchise it to Korea, Tokyo, and even New York. Bottom left, actually the Tokyo Ramen, in Japan, of course, and far right corner is the Oktoberfest that everyone knows about, having not only a beer but also local delicacies. Right? So gastronomy for tourists in future, if we see the global pandemic and lockdown, a very significant impacts on the consumer food behavior in general. Right? Majority of stores and restaurant closures during the pandemic, there was also an increase of the online shopping. But if you see in Malaysia also, online outlet grows like a mushroom from individually operated to a large scale of companies, right? But if we see also on the other flip side of the coin, there are still a lot of people wanting or desire to dine in because they are still more preferred to have the ambience As I can see, even in Malaysia, once the pandemic was lifted out, many restaurants were swarmed by a lot of customers. People want to go out. People want to enjoy the environment of the restaurant or the eateries. So even long before COVID-19, there was a growing awareness of the need of more sustainable food production and culinary system, and the roles of tourism and hospitality could play in supporting this effort because the demand is always there. The researchers also highlighting concern about the impact of globalized and homogeneous food system, right? Arguing that consumers had become disconnected from nature and their food supply. I think that's why, like Madam Ningsih just mentioned earlier, people now basically back to basic. People now wanting for the preserved food, right? A smoked fish. In Malaysia now, ikan salai or daging salai, smoked product have become very popular nowadays, right? Food tourism also offers a town or a region a point of difference in strengthening a region identity, sustaining cultural heritage, where people get bonding, family, friends. Like I said, many people now looking for a style of home cook. Like Prof. Azali said now about rendang, right? There's so many type of rendang now, fusion, and is being demanded by quite a lot of even youngsters nowadays, because also the program initiated by the countries or state buying local has also give a lot of impact. The closure of the international borders had even drawn a greater attention of domestic tourism to the local food, to a specific region and so on. Right? So in a conclusion, global pandemic has brought with it financial insecurity at both a personal and societal level, a time of economic uncertainty and slowdown. Consumers may pay back unnecessary expenditures. People are become a little bit conscious in spending, but at the same time, people still want to enjoy leisure and holiday activities. But you see now, people change probably. They want to stay nearer to their hometown. They seek more value based holidays, seeking out bargains, look for more healthier food, right? Many people have enjoyed a simple elements of cooking, right? And also because of the lockdown experience, from a very simple cooking, a basic home cooking, to what's available in even the local environment. So the trend expected to continue in renewed focus on exploring food as an expression of local places, cultures, and identity. The role of gastronomy for tourists will definitely become increasingly prominent or even preferred, and this trend will be expected to continue because the pandemic, which is going to be endemic, it's going to stay with us forever. So looking forward, tourism for food or gastronomy tourism may become more pronounced in most countries, especially like Indonesia, even in Malaysia, in the region of even globally. Right? Food experiences provide a pathway to connect, to bond the people, the heritage, and even to the local places. Again, I said back to basic. I think will be more preferable in gastronomy tourism, and I think with the launch of world tourism in Indonesia, which is aligned very much with the global gastronomy tourism. I thank you for the time for presentation and will accept any question later on. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Dr. Tom. Back to you.
Masih mute, moderator.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for appointing me. IT team, Mas Rahmat. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for pointing out me. Thanks also to Pak Rohman, IT team. What I can draw a conclusion from the presentation of candidate Dr. Zahar bin Ali that the global pandemic and lockdown affected to many sectors, especially in tourism and food industry sector, and also the role of gastronomy for tourism increasingly prominent, and the trend will be continue about the gastronomy for tourism. Thank you very much, candidate Dr. Zahar bin Ali. Before I continue to call the third invited speaker, I would like to present the certificate to candidate Dr. Zahar bin Ali. Okay. I'd like to apologize if the certificate or the slide that I presented to the screen sometimes shows slow response due to the problem of the technology. But I believe some of you can see that the real time, yeah, what I mean in the real time, what I presented in the screen. Okay, Mr. Zahar bin Ali, the certificate for you.
Thank you, Dr. Tom. Thank you, Stipram. Yeah.
Surely I will visit Malaysia next year. I do hope that the number of the COVID-19 suspect will be down increasingly for the next year.
Inshallah, see you soon.
Yeah, I mean. Okay, I just received a note from my mentor. I thank very much, Professor Tony Hindratono. Just to remind ladies and gentlemen, all the webinar participants, that you can stream this live presentation of the whole activity of the webinar from Eljon TV through www.eljon.tv, and also YouTube streaming under the channel of the Stipram official. Ladies and gentlemen, all the participants, we are now in the third invited speaker, Professor Eni Harmayani, MSc PhD from our neighbor university, as Gajah Mada University. Before I call Professor Maya, I would like to read Professor Maya short biography. Okay. Professor Dr. IR Eni Hermayani, MSc. Her current appointment is a full professor at Gajah Mada University, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. She is also the Dean of Faculty of Agricultural Technology at the Gajah Mada University, Yogyakarta. Her educational background, she received a bachelor degree from Gajah Mada University, Indonesia in 1985, Master of Science from Colorado State University, USA in 1993, and a PhD degree from the same university as Colorado State University, United States of America in 1995. Professor Maya received many awards, including very prestigious award, as Adikarya Pangan Nusantara Award in 2012 by our former Mr. President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono for the category of food security services. Professor Maya has published more than 130 articles in top-ranked international journals, national journals, and conference proceedings. The data I retrieved from Google Scholar, Professor Maya research fields are in the food science and technology, food microbiology, prebiotic, probiotic, and food safety. Without any further ado, I would like to call Professor Maya for your presentation. The time is yours, Professor Maya.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, Dr. Tom. I appreciate it. And also I would like to thank Bapak Hendroyono that allow me to share in this Gastronomy for Tourism seminar conducted by Stipram. Can I share?
Yes, Prof, please.
Sorry. Or maybe, sorry.
No problem, bro.
Okay. Not yet, yeah? Not yet?
Yeah.
Ready?
Okay. Yeah,
okay.
Ready, bro.
Okay. So the title that the organizing committee asked me to share is Gastronomy for Tourism during COVID-19 pandemic. My name is Eni Harmayani. I'm from Faculty of Agricultural Technology, Universitas Gadjah Mada, and also recently we established Center for Indonesian Gastronomy and Culinary in this faculty. So I would start with the question, what is gastronomy? We only most of us I think often hear about gastronomy, but what is gastronomy actually? Gastronomy is everything related to the art, practice, and study of selection, preparation, production, presentation, and enjoyment of food and beverages. So the scope of gastronomy, as also presented by the former presenters, is quite broad, namely the origin and history of food, including food philosophy, also diverse sustainable food or agrobiodiversity, knowledge on how to handle and process dishes, and knowledge of eating habits. And what is the difference between gastronomy and culinary? According to Indra Karunaketaren, gastronomy is defined as the knowledge of food expert about various stories, eating culture, and the art of eating good and delicious food. So in the short term, the art of good eating. And culinary is often interpreted as the art of cooking healthy and nutritious food, or the art of good cooking. Yeah. So gastronomy is knowledge about food from the consumer's point of view, from the consumers, yeah. And culinary is the art of good cooking from the producer's efforts, yeah. So this one, universally, gastronomy is knowledge about foods, yeah, all about foods, which includes food stories. This is to study the relationship of food in relation to historical and cultural knowledge. And then food assessment is an effort to provide an assessment of the quality, taste, services of food and non-food, and the art of good eating. And the difference between gastrotourism and culinary tourism, gastronomic tourism is encouraged by the motivation to know and learn the history of and culture of local food, including stories or legends of local wisdom, in addition to seeing natural attractions. So I think like the presenter before, they visit to Papua to see the local culture, local food, stories, legend, local wisdom, and also natural attractions. How about culinary tourism? Culinary tourism is encouraged to seek and enjoy food without the need to know and study the history, culture, stories, or legends. For these tourists, natural attraction, man-made attraction are not the main point and main option of their visit. Often non-tourists do culinary tours, business visit, and so on. So in this era, with the COVID-19 pandemic, we all aware or set light on the importance of nutritious food and functional food to improve our immune system. And we can also combine this to our gastro tourism. I would like to briefly share about food function. Food function, food have two functions, life and lifestyle. Life to supply nutrition for health and vitality. This is also including functional food. And lifestyle. Eating is part of lifestyle. So we have to consider this in order to improve or to develop our gastro-tourism. We tend to get maximal benefit, tasty, healthy, and happy. This is important in the pandemic situation. So this one, food functions, psychologically function. This is for good health, and then physiological function, and psychological function also for happiness, and also other psychological function, and also serve as social function. And this is, we can explore this with a lot of things in gastro-tourism. So you can put this one with your experience. So food is life according to Food and Agricultural Organization. Food is love also. Food is energy. Food is culture. Food is nutrition. Food is human right. You can also mention more and more on and on. Food is art. Food is pride. Because in the certain area, we are pride that we have, for example, in Jogja Gudeg, or in Semarang Lumpia, in Gresik, for example, other things. Food is dignity, identity. Food is security, sovereignty, lifestyle, journey, experience, education. And you can also fill in the blank what is food means to you. So food is much more than what is on our plates. Value of food is beyond what is on our plate. So Indonesia has if we talk about Indonesian gastronomy, Indonesia has a very diverse biodiversity region, tradition and culture, and local communities. So actually we have a lot of things to be developed. The combination of these three things really enrich the gastronomy and cuisine of the archipelago from Sabang to Merauke, from Miangas to Rote. So the variety of food commodities also create the spice route, which since ancient times has been a means of trading Indonesian spices to the world. And we also can see the role of Indonesian gastronomy to provide nutrition beneficial to health. This is important during our pandemic situation, to express special event in human life cycle, to celebrate or commemorate event, to support successful mission or diplomacy, and then to build virtue and life or wellness. So this is related to gastronomic tourism to support successful mission, as a gastro diplomacy, mission of diplomacy, trade, culinary tourism, and other. Start from local regional to international levels. Also, gastronomy can be used for nation branding. For example, Thailand, they have Kitchen of the World. Korea, they have Korean cuisine to the world, or global handshake, yeah. Dim sum diplomacy in Taiwan. Indonesia, now we also want to ask for the intangible heritage for the spice route. So Indonesian spice up the world, yeah. Or icon of certain country or region, for example, sushi in Japan, tom yum Thailand, kimchi Korea, pizza Italia. Yeah. So gastrotourism, the emphasis of gastronomy is on the local wisdom of the local community whose activities are often associated with other cultures. For example, clothes, dance, houses, yeah. And gastrotourism, tourists are motivated to travel because they want to learn about food that they have never enjoyed before. And gastrotourism, to enjoy the food, because this is from the perspective of consumers, tourists can appreciate, or food tourists can appreciate the food from many perspectives, such as how the food is processed, how they serve, how the food is consumed, what is the story behind the food, what is the philosophy, etc. For in the gastronomy tourism, gastrotourism is widely used by various countries in expressing their tourism, because there is an element of knowledge, learning that tourists can take home to develop. United States, France, Germany, Switzerland, Italy, Russia, Spain, and the Netherlands, Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam often use the phrase gastrotourism in their tourism marketing product. And already presented from Ibu Ningsih, now Macau, yeah, also develop gastrotourism. How about Indonesian biodiversity as resource of gastrotourism? Briefly, Indonesia has the second highest biodiversity after Brazil for terrestrial flora and fauna, and even the highest when combined with Indonesia's marine biodiversity. Yeah, Indonesia is called as a mega biodiversity country. We have at least 400 types of fruits producing plants, 370 types of vegetable, 70 types of tubers, 55 types of spices, and various kinds of animals that can be consumed. This is the biodiversity of tubers and staple food in Indonesia, yeah, like Papua, sagu, and yam, yeah, and biodiversity of tropical fruits, yeah, many fruits. Every month we have different kind of foods, fruit seasons, yeah. This is a bless from God to us that we have to preserve and improve to our prosperity. Also, Indonesian spice up the world. Yeah, Indonesia has long known to produce spices and trade it to the world. Among 7,000 types of spices, only 4% has been utilized. Yeah, spices thrive in various places in Indonesia. How about Indonesian traditional culinary? Indonesia traditional culinary is a collection of various regional culinary traditions affected by region, landscape, diverse ethnic heritage, rich of history and culture. These are the model, yeah, for gastrotourism. So there are wide variety of recipes and cuisine, because Indonesia is composed of approximately 6,000 populated islands, of total around 70,000, with more than 1,300 ethnic groups. Yeah, Many regional culinary exist, often based upon indigenous culture with some acculturation with some foreign influence. For example, Indonesian culinary affected by geography, landscape, diverse ethnic heritage, rich of history and culture. Yeah. Sumatra, the recipe of food normally using coconut milk, which is abundant there. Parahyangan, West Java, Sundanese tribe normally enjoy fresh food with chili sauce and freshwater fish and also vegetables. Yeah. And Eastern Indonesia, surrounding with the sea, there is no day without fish, and the fish normally consumed with natural seasoning and traditional method of cooking. Yeah. So Indonesia rich in traditional and local exotic foods. Yeah. Every region has its own unique local foods. The food based on its local resources can be categorized as ethnic foods, rooted from local culture, and social and economically important as foundation and reflection of high biodiversity. So, as I mentioned before by Bu Ningsih, with Professor Murdiati Garjito, we have documented 12 series of Indonesian culinary. Me and Professor Murdiati Garjito and Professor Umar, Indonesia has more than 100 types of beverage. This is, we call it Pusaka Cita Rasa Indonesia, Series 1, the first series. Ragam Minuman Indonesia, Indonesian beverage. And then the next will be launching. Indonesia has more than 1,200 types of snack and delicacies spread across the countries. Also, we have 71 set main menus with their side dishes, including meal for several ritual purposes. Yeah, this is in the series, the 5th series. And then 64 variety of fried rice, yeah, nasi goreng, and 113 varieties of complete one bowl meal. Yeah. Indonesia has 2,000 type of side dishes, yeah. And then Indonesian culinary has several types of complementary food like shrimp crackers, chili sauce, salad, pickles, soy sauce, etc. Also, if we group it into vegetable base, we have a lot of salad type, yeah, traditional salad type. Yeah, urap, trancam, pecel, gado-gado, karedok. This is good for vegetarian. A vegetable-based Indonesian traditional soup, yeah, and then meat-based Indonesian traditional soup, food, yeah. So also some food that promoted, yeah, into global world, yeah, global community. For example, soto, in this spoonful of Indonesian warmth. This is Masters of the Year from World Street Food Congress. And then tempe is an Indonesian superfood because consists of a lot of nutrient and also vitamin and bioactive compound which improve our health. Yeah. Also jamu, yeah, jamu is a traditional functional drink which now during the pandemic already increased the popularity, and people now, even me, every day we drink jamu like temulawak, jahe, kunyit, yeah, and it's very, very good to protect our health, our body from virus infection. So how to improve gastrotourism in Indonesia? Indonesia has untapped potential resource for promoting gastrotourism. However, it has not been developed well yet. So it may be improved by documenting Indonesian gastronomy, including history, culture of local food, food authenticity, food story, food legend, eating habit, food function for wellness, etc. And we already started that documentation, and maybe we can collaborate with Stipram to improve it. Essentially, tourism business is selling experiences, because the experiences stored in the memory of tourists will be brought home and told to others. So gastrotourism is about food, exploring and discovering culture and history through food and food-related activities, and creating unforgettable experiences, according to Long 2005. So improving this element may improve our gastrotourism in Indonesia. So as the conclusion, Indonesia rich in traditional culinary and gastronomy, developed from mega biodiversity of local resources. It is a collection of various culinary traditions affected by region, landscape, diverse ethnic heritage, rich of history and culture. Indonesia culinary plays an important role in influencing a tourist experience and intention to revisit, because tourists not only want to see and hear, but also want to taste the food in the places they visit. So Indonesian traditional culinary and gastronomy play important role also to provide nutrition for optimal health and to build virtue in life. Thus can be promoted for gastrotourism in the era of pandemic COVID-19. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Give back the time and place to the moderator.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Eni Harmayani, MSc PhD, for the nice, informative, and interesting presentation. Professor Maya present the title of her presentation today is about the gastronomy for tourism during the COVID-19 pandemic, including the rudimentary of the gastronomy and culinary, also gastrotourism and culinary tourism. Professor Maya presented the food-related definition, also Indonesian gastronomy, role of Indonesian gastronomy, including several interesting dishes, recipe, culinary, traditional food, and also complementary foods, which can be used to increase our immune towards the COVID-19 pandemics. And finally, Professor Maya presented on the methods how to improve gastrotourism in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, all the respected participants, please give applause to Professor Eni Harmayani. Thank you very much, Professor. Before we go to the final presentation for the invited speaker, I would like to present the certificate for Professor Eni Harmayani. Professor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tom.
Thank you. Terima kasih banyak, Professor Maya.
Yes.
I hope
You're
to
welcome.
collaborate with your research center in future, Professor Maya. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, all the respected participants, so we are now in the final invited speaker presentation from Assistant Professor Chef Muhammad Fazli bin C. Omar. I would like to read Assistant Professor Chef Fazli short biography. As we can see in the screen, Assistant Professor Chef Muhammad Fazli bin C. Omar, his current appointment is Assistant Professor in Gastronomy at the University College Sedaya International UCSI in Ceras, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Chef Fazli has the educational background Master in Gastronomy from UITM, University Technology Mara, Malaysia. His professional and academic experiences, including the Deputy President of Gastronomy Association of Malaysia, and recently Assistant Professor Chef Fazli is the head of practice, the practical, the industry and community engagement of UCSI University, Malaysia. Chef Fazli, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. It's my great pleasure. Shortly, I will do my presentation. I will do the sharing. A bit of myself. My name is Chef Fazli, or Assistant Professor Muhammad Fazli bin C. Omar. Okay, I'm originally from the part of Sarawak. Okay, another part of Malaysia. It's my great pleasure to be invited to be shared. Thank you to the moderator, Dr. Tom. I think it's my first time, but I see you before from the other events that have been hosted. It's my great pleasure again to be part of all the expertise, those giving the lectures and also the sharing of about the gastronomy and tourism. Okay, give me the privilege to share my.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Okay. All right, can see?
Yes. Yes, chef. Please continue.
All right. Okay. So through my my studies and also through the gastronomy and also through my experience, I'm also holding the position as the country vice president for World Association of Master Chef for the Malaysian. So I'm also working with the other industry partners, and also I'm also an entrepreneur. I have my own restaurant that I'm operating, and also I'm doing some herb and spices through online platform. Okay, through this topic is quite very broad. I bring in my attention to have and sharing through the Malaysian perspective in terms of how Malaysia recovery through this pandemic. Okay, with the topic, so I taking with the Indonesia, the Gastronomy World Day, and also with the topic gastronomy for tourism. So it's my privilege to share COVID-19 impact and recovery through Malaysia perspective, so that we can share the knowledge and how we bring in, how we come back through this pandemic, especially to the chef's perspective, into the hoteliers, restaurant, and all the food vendors and street foods owner through this perspective. Okay. Through this presentation, I have my outline through which will be presented to you and all to the participant that's viewing from this webinar. Also, so we will see in terms of the definition. I think the definition of gastronomy already been widely discussed by all the experts, speakers. So I will be conclude in a short later on, then go through to the COVID-19, how impacted to the gastronomic tourism to the world and also Southeast Asia, and how is the recovery stages and how we come back to assist, and also what are the aid given by the government of Malaysia. And then through the strategies by the association and bodies. And lastly, I will do my conclusion. Okay, the introduction of gastronomy in short. Some of the panelists have been defined the word of gastronomy quite wide. Okay, so my definition will be shrinking all of this. So experience through of consumptions of and appreciation of food and beverage is being presented in such a way that values the history, means that based on the history of all, based on the culture. We are from Nusantara cuisine, example Indonesia, Philippines. We have all our neighbors country like Indonesia, so we are working together. So we are a big family. So the culture, we have a lot of cultures that we involve in our own country. Like Malaysia, we have around more than 20 culture, even from the Sabah and Sarawak. The environment of a particular region. So the most important when we talk about gastronomy is the person, even our people from Bangladesh, workers from Bangladesh, although they are working in Malaysia, we also consider them as part of the Malaysian gastronomy. One, because they are food and they've been consumed. People are consuming the food in the country. So that is by the definition of gastronomy. Then we talk about travel. Okay, travel is one of the area that will be very big, and is one of the economic source of income to the nation, even to the government of Indonesia, even to other countries like Malaysia. Food has become a tourist resources, and also food product have increased the value of the destination. We have a lot of destination around your country. Like Malaysia, like Indonesia, you have the main attraction, I can say, like Jakarta, Yogyakarta, even like Bandung, you have Bali. Even Malaysia, we have Langkawi, we have Johor, we have Penang. So all this food, we are as main of our source. So we have our product, but we need people are buying and consume, and also to have the tourist attraction to bring in these things. During this pandemic, yes, we suffer a bit in terms of this impact, and tremendously, yes, a lot of hotels being closed and some are merging, like the Marriott Group, they're merging the hotels. Like Malaysia, we have, I think, around 10 hotels properties, so they merge become 5, then others they close for temporary, and some they're restructuring the business operation. So a lot of things that have been done in terms of slimming the cost of operation, and some they go for a lot of things, activities to generate awareness campaign to give to make the hospitality industry alive. Okay, in terms of gastronomy, tourism related activities, there are a lot of activities that can be performed under the gastronomy tourism. First, we can see through the food street. Indonesia have a lot of food street. I enjoying so much when I was in Bandung, in Jakarta, and even in Bandung, mostly in Bandung. I went to Bandung and Jakarta so far. So I've been traveling. Traveling to other countries before the pandemic. I went to Tokyo to assist on to promote the Malaysian cuisine through the Malaysian Olympic, to promote during that time. But unfortunately, the Olympic been postponed to this year. Then it's a street food. So street food is also generating for the we call as SME, small medium entrepreneurs, to generating the income. Okay, not only focusing to the big boys, means the hotel industry. Tasting of local dishes and beverages. So this is where we promoting our delicacies to the tourist industries. Example like Indonesia, they have a lot of cuisine. I can see just now you present thousands, a lot of cuisine. Even just now, Professor Dr. Amy also elaborate in terms of the definition of cuisine, in terms of salad, the deviation is a lot. So we are promoting, we are not going to promote most of the Western countries' product in our country, right? So we have to promote about our Indonesian, about our Malaysian cuisine that we can show to the world. So that is why the tourism industry is a very important thing. Then we follow regional product routes, example, travel on wine or coffee routes. Example, in France, they have the gastronomic map. Just now, Dr. Amy also showed about the Indonesian gastronomy, where this place is specific for this item. Yes, any question? No. Like in Malaysia, we have Kajang. They're famous with satay. So that is the most important. Like in Kelantan, they're famous with serunding. Even in Terengganu Part, they're famous with Popok Leko and together with Kelantan. So they have their own gastronomic items. So that is where we have our own products. Eat at traditional restaurant to consume in terms of eating with hand, not with spork, food and spork. So this is the thing that we want to promote to the world. Share meals with local people. This is also one of our tradition, sharing our product and our home cooking. We bring them sharing of our home dishes to others. So we are very the Malaysian ataupun the Indonesian or Nusantara ethics that we have. Then we have the participate in food events, festival, weddings, events. We have a celebration to bring in as part of the tourist center. Example, in Malaysia, we do have Hari Raya open house. Means every state, they will be hosting the festival. Example, for Chinese New Year, we have Deepavali. So every state we have their time and also allocate. So this year, let's example, Hari Raya will be hosted in Sarawak. Then in Kuching, which part of Sarawak is quite big. Then we have the Chinese New Year, where maybe in Malacca, on all sort of these things. Then we have the visit local markets to see and to view how they sell, how cheap is their product, how to taste. Even some of the Sarawak cuisine, in terms of it's not available in Semenanjung or in the Peninsula Malaysia. Like me, I'm from Sarawak. Okay, so we bring in some of the product like temu pau. It's like a small ginger, but it tastes like it can be as a salad, but it's not available in the Peninsula Malaysia. So this is where we can taste with the local market. And also in terms of some of the product also cannot be grown in Peninsula Malaysia, but there are people are growing some of the fruits the local fruits, example buah tarap, which normally famous in Sabah and Sarawak, but also been planted in Johor and also certain places in Malacca. So they already sell in our local. Learn about the production of food by visiting farms and artisan product. So this is also to promote the local farmers in terms of the production of their product. Example, in Johor, maybe some of you maybe don't know that Johor in Muar, they also produce a good type of oyster. Even some of other places, they product like what we call the sata. In Terengganu, they have a very good type of cuisine that we are promoting. And also the artisan product is a niche product or the uniqueness of the product. Then participate in cooking classes online. We have to learn. There are also activities by the tourism board in Malaysia. They promote how to cook the Malaysian dishes. Example, the most common product, I think, nasi lemak. Okay, then we have the teh tarik making, how to tarik it. So this is also one of the uniqueness in terms of promotion of gastronomy tourism. Then we have exhibition, yes, involved with all the expatriates, international exhibitors to be participate. Like we have in Jakarta, we do have, I think, Food Hotel Indonesia, which last year I went, before the pandemic, I went to there. Then we have in Malaysia, Food Hotel Malaysia. Recently, we will be having this Selangor International Food Fair, so soon. So this is also to bring in the knowledge and also the sharing of the product and local cuisine to the world. Then we have the visit exhibition, explain the history of local cuisine. Then last one is culinary expedition of chef and specialists. So this is also the chef plays important role. Later also we will see from the perspective of UN, World Tourism Organization. They're also promoting back and also providing the activities to the world about the certain cuisine. Okay, then we go to the perspective of COVID-19, how they've been affected to the gastronomy tourism, massively affected by the lack of travel due to the COVID-19. We can see the restriction given by the government to protect their people, even Indonesia not allowing the flight to come in. And also there is SOP, standard operating procedures that we need to go through, the quarantine and also the swab test, everything that we need to know. Now we go for the vaccination and must have for the vaccination for 2 doses based on the type of the vaccination. Travel restriction made it impossible, so that most of this been affected throughout the whole business, from the small business up to the big business. The bigger business, the bigger of their capital to run for the operation, of course they will be affected most, but the small one, maybe they still can survive. Now we have a lot of apps, and later we talk about that. Then experience is both emotional and also physical. So it's a recovery process now. We are lucky that the vaccination process is already ongoing in Malaysia since March. So it's already ongoing. So for now we already in the 5th month, going to 6th month in the process of this vaccination, and most of the Malaysian. Later we see how the government of Malaysia assist the gastronomic tourism for the Malaysian. Okay, from here we can see the impact of COVID-19 to the business, either operating, looking for pivot, and also launching new offering. Disruption to production, especially big massive factories. They also have to reduce the numbers of staff. Operating costs have to be reduced. So gastronomy is not only about product, but it's also from the process from the farmers to the table. So the wide range of gastronomy definition is all. So you have to understand as educator, like me as a lecturer, when we educate the students and also to sharing with the public about the word of gastronomy, it's not only from the perspective of from the kitchen. Actually, is from the whole process of from the farmers to the table. Means that some they define that as a garden to table. So means that the production also affected in this COVID-19. Impact of job in hospitality. When you are involved in hospitality, food chain, yes, there will be a lot of this, and even the government of Malaysia giving some fund through e-Benjana to assist, and also from the government itself to give some allocation to the Malaysian citizen based on their level of income. Then cost of operation, some of the cost of operation getting higher due to the supply and demand are lesser. Public concern on industry, awareness in terms of safety to dine in is one of the areas where people are afraid, and also the restriction in terms of movement. We cannot allow to, most of people are going out, only the father or the main person in the family to go out to buy the essential product, and some of the restaurant going for online. Later we share more. I have something that I will be sharing about this gastronomy, how interesting, and we take as a positive impact towards the changes in the gastronomy perspective. So about to the Malaysia perspective, okay, this is our current cases. I take this one 2 days ago. So we already done the vaccination process throughout on the 19th. This one is updated on the 19th of September, sourced from our Department of Statistic Population. So this is you can also Google through this Department of Statistics Malaysia to get this data. So from here we can see this is the total case in Malaysia, and also the total death also affected this. And also based on the population, the numbers of vaccinated already, both those is already reached to 18 million of population. Means that our Malaysian population is around 35 million. So from the number, we already reached the 50%. So soon, some of the area is already reached the 80%, like Kuala Lumpur and the surrounding, like Selangor, we already reached the 80%. Even the Putrajaya already reached the 80% of vaccinated. Then tourism, tourists through domestic and international have affected. Why? Because it's also, we can see that just now I elaborated that the tourist segment have been affected, the hospitality industry. From the statistic also, from the source that I received, okay, in total, the hotel industry is estimated to have lost over 5 billion in revenue since the start of 2021, this year. So because of the numbers of occupancy have dropped down until the lowest, okay, normally the hotel occupancy at least reach at least 70% to 100%. So some of hotel already reduced until less than 10% of their occupancy, some are zero. So zero is not like 1 day, 2 day, 3 days. It's like 3 months ahead, 4 months ongoing. So it's a big loss for them. Hotels have since been grappling with occupancy rates hovering below 20% and predicted rates of 21% and 28% in the third and fourth quarter of 2021 respectively. Subsequent manpower rationalization in the form of unpaid leaves, pay cuts, and even the retrenchment has also reduced the workforce by 6 to 10%. You can see how the impact of this COVID-19 towards the Malaysia hotel industry. So here, what are the recovery and also how the Malaysian start up back and to bring in to start with the gear 1, gear 2, and to rolling back to the industry and also we can see the declining of the input ataupun the source of income towards the industry, GDP, gross profit income. Okay, in terms of the financial, okay, we talk about financial, okay. Financial, how does the government of Malaysia to assist even some of the local entrepreneurs, even some of the individuals, business entity, how they assist? Okay, we talk about the government of Malaysia in terms of finance and them to give them some moratorium, means we giving from the first phase of our pandemic in last year 2020, 6 months. We could delay the payment, delay of extension of the payment in the next round, means that so we doesn't need to pay any loans if those entrepreneurs, even for having some financial, so they reduce. Even from the owners of big malls, they're giving some discount rate to assist the food operators to sustain in the business without to close the business. Why? To assist them to maintain. Some, of course, they need to reduce the numbers of workers and to maintain certain numbers of staff during the time. And multi-skilling is very important during this time of period, because we will see one person can do like 3 or 4 tasks by a person. So we need to be there. Then in terms of financial, in terms of supporting others from the banks, is also assist to the local entrepreneurs, SME especially. Then demand and also supply. The demand is, the supply is lesser, the demand is high, so the price sometimes is also some of the product also fluctuation in terms of the freight cost, in terms of some of product are being imported, exported, so the traveling of the cost also affected the whole gastronomy of tourism, and also the food what we call source of the ingredient also been rise due to this COVID. Example like when I was working in Netherlands before, when we bring in the product of potatoes, I'm working with farm fleet brand, so it takes from 45 days to arrive to KL port, to the port clank. So there is the process. So all this is also having the reduction in terms of their what we call cost of operation, and also the cost have been increased in terms of the freight cost and also the handling cost. So there is been affected, and also from there the chain of the ingredient also will increase slightly, and also some ingredient are already increased rapidly. In terms of recovery, is a worldwide effort by the whole of every countries. They're doing the recovery from their own perspective, and also looking at others country how they do the recovery process. From the World United Nations World Tourism Organization, they also been done this Travel Tomorrow campaign. Means that they're giving hope to all those love to travel, and even for business travelers to start to promote. And some of the countries, they already open their borders for the flights, and also for inbound and outbound. But for the Malaysia, we also, some of the countries we already open, but in the certain areas, those are countries with high need to be stopped at the moment. And the production of cloud kitchen, shack kitchen, is the booming thing happening currently in Malaysia, mainly in the Klang Valley. We can see the cloud kitchen. By the definition of cloud kitchen, is a kitchen that we have, then we share with others. Maybe from the one center kitchen, maybe we can divide into segmentation. There are few companies, they already provide these services. Means that in their big factory, they divide into maybe 20 kitchen. So they set up a mini kitchen, then they do a food delivery like GrabFood. We have Food Panda. So all of these kitchen will have their own machine to do the ordering. Means that they only have, they order from the food, and also they will deliver and pick up the food from that area. So there will be like 20 kitchen in one roof. So this is what we call as a cloud kitchen. They don't have any dining area, but it's only for kitchen production. Even myself, I've opened one of my cloud kitchen located in Kuala Lumpur. Then we go for digitalization because of the contactless, to avoid any contact with the with the customers and also with the operators. We try to minimize this, and this is why this industry will be booming. Even in Europe or in London, they're already famous with this GrabFood or takeaway food or the food delivery. But since this pandemic, it's already like a big mushroom. Is everywhere. And the promotion is through the social media, through the webinar partnership with digital companies. Okay, this is what we can see from the Travel Tomorrow campaign done by famous chef. Okay, so they are promoting this tourism, gastronomy tourism through Chef Maria Madrika Force. We have Chef Anna Rose, ambassador for gastronomy tourism, and also we have Chef Juan Mari and also Chef Elena Arzak. So they're also promoting this through the World Campaign through the perspective of United Nations to assist and to give hope to the others. Okay, from here we can see the perspective of Malaysia. Some they define the club kitchen like a ghost kitchen because they don't know where is the restaurant, where is the restaurant. So they do this. Ghost kitchen booming in Asia is a pandemic sparks huge demand. This is to assist the gastronomic. We can say about not only specific of our ingredient, but the whole cuisine of whole business. There's some of the food entrepreneurs, food provider, they create a lot of uniqueness and also innovation in terms of serving their food. Then going for digitalization, even like Google, they also bring in to assist to promote into like the ways into the Google Meet, Google Map. You can see there is also attraction. That's how they bring in when you are in the area of the certain area. Like example, maybe you in Bali, where is the nearest restaurant? In Kuala Lumpur, where is the nearest restaurant? What you're looking for? You want to go what type of shop? To go what type of restaurant that you're looking for? So the Google also brings to assist the development of gastronomy tourism. So here is one of the example. Google brings Mexican gastronomy to the whole world. Means they showcase. So even Google, they do have their own office throughout the world. Malaysia, they do have office in Jakarta. They do have their own office in Jakarta. So this is how they promote doing that. So we talk about the recovery about Malaysia, how we do. So maybe some of you maybe knows about our apps. We do have our own apps to sustain in the business. Through your phone, and you can see through My Sejahtera app, we have the tourism recovery bubble that which already just launched by the Minister of Tourism, by Yang Berhormat Datuk Nancy Shukri from Sarawak. Then we have the contactless food service, then digital implementation. Okay, first we can see the Malaysian, is initiative by the Ministry of Health. So they provide and they build up these apps to assist, even to ensure the recovery process is ongoing and to ensure that all people can dine in back. So with these apps is really helpful to assist and to give hope to all the food operators, to the gastronomic tourism, so that they allowing us to go back as like a normal, but with the SOP. Yes, the phone is very important. Then we have to download these apps. Then from the apps we can see is it you are been fully vaccinated or first dose or second dose. So here you can scan. You can enter to the restaurant. You have to scan first to ensure the tracking system done by this. Okay, next we have this tourism recovery bubble. Then we started with this tourism recovery bubble. First destination is Langkawi, done by the Minister of Datuk Nancy Shukri. Domestic tourism bubble to promote our local domestic, but the first pilot project is located in Langkawi. Langkawi Island as the pioneer to see how is the interaction, how is the people following the SOP required in terms of using the My Sejahtera, to see the social distancing need to be practiced. Then we have the fully vaccinated tourists. It's a must to have that when you're traveling using the flights or using the bus or land transportation from this method. Mandatory COVID-19 screening test prior to visit. So this is also a swab test or something. It's a prior to do that. Then here we talk about the ghost kitchen just now. This is one of the restaurant. They have multiple brands inside in one restaurant. So they are combining all of this kitchen, and you can do through online ordering. And also just now I mentioned about one roof with a lot of restaurant or a lot of kitchen inside. So this is one of the concept. World first hybrid of food hall and delivery kitchen. So from one apps you can order the whole, like this one they have around 19 restaurant, they bring it together. So you can buy through one apps, you can buy all of this cuisine. This is the merging business to assist in terms of the cost of operation. Then you just focus on your kitchen production. Contactless food service in terms of hotel. In terms of hotel also, they provide packed food, complete set menu to the room. There is no longer we have a buffet. If there is a buffet line, maybe they have to have a barrier, a glass shield for scooping. There's no longer that you have to scoop. And also some of the restaurant also, those who still have, they use a hand glove and also to use the face mask to ensure the safety of the product throughout the things. Okay, then implementation of digital, and we can see food apps is booming also. Lots of other things we can see like GrabFood, Dah Makan, Delivery Eat. Now we have the new one, Asia Eat also. Even Asia Food. They just up. Then another one produced by my partner is Hari Hari, selling the food service. And we have Food Panda, we have Bees, and others. So there's a lot. Then activities in social media like bloggers in promoting their brands, even the artist celebrities in promoting to assist in terms of our gastronomy, food, even all of these celebrities also they creating their own food, even our own local people also they own creating the sambal, promoting more on our local dishes. It is good also, it's a positive impact towards to this during this COVID and recovery process to the nation. Okay, by the conclusion, okay, adaptation to the changes due to COVID-19 pandemic, we have to adapt. Soon after the pandemic, it will be endemic. We will live together with the COVID-19, and we have to practice ourselves until for the next years. So implementation of various recovery plan and also strategies is ongoing process, and we have to follow. So that is bringing the good thing to us, and also the innovation in gastronomy delivery. That is to bring in more innovative product and also profit to the operators. That's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Assistant Professor Shafazli bin Che Omar. Very nice, informative, and interesting presentation. Shafazli bin Che Omar presented the gastronomy for tourism related to COVID-19 impacts and recovery through Malaysia perspective. Shafazli highlighted 3 points in his presentation. Number one is according to adaptation to the new normal era due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The second one is the implementation of various recovery plan, including the strategy and new normal standard operating procedure. And then the last one is the innovation in gastronomy delivery, including the online business, delivery service, contactless food services, and digital business. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Assistant Professor Shafazli bin Che Omar. We give applause to Shafazli. Okay, before we go to question and answer session, I would like to present the certificate for Assistant Professor Shafazli bin Che Omar.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, most welcome, Shafazli.
Thank you, Dr. Tom.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we come to the question and answer sessions. For the first session, I would like to open 3 questions from the participants. Some of you already posted all the questions to the keynote and invited speaker through the chat forum in the Zoom platforms. Okay, so I would like to show for the first question from Bunda Mulia University from Jakarta. Okay, the questions go to Professor Ani and or Professor Azril Azahari from Bapak Yudit, Bunda Mulia University in Jakarta. There are 3 questions. Prof Maya, Prof Eni, yeah. Sure, for Prof Azril, I will collect your question and then pass to Professor Azril. He will provide the related answer and then I send back to Bapak Yudit. Professor Maya, the first question from Pak Yudit is, Indonesia is a vast country and there are so many culinary delights. How about your opinion? Yeah, uborampe. And the second one, is it include in gastronomy too? And can uborampe be included in the gastronomy of tourism? The last question from Pak Yudit. And what will be ube rampe if it can become a gastronomy tourism later? Please, Professor Maya, you answer.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Yudit, yeah, from Bunda Mulia University. I think the right word is ubo, yeah, not umbo, yeah. Ubo rampe.
Okay, I thank so much for your correction, Professor Maya. So, Pak Yudit, ubo rampe, the correct term, not umbo, yeah, Prof.
Not umbo, yeah, ubo rampe.
Thank you very much.
I think food is part of ubo rampe in many rituals or events. Yeah, for example, during wedding or ceremony, wedding ceremony, we have to give some kind of food to the bride or groom side, yeah, family, and this is part. So food is part of uborampe. So in the term, I think yes, we can include uborampe in the gastronomy and in the gastronomy of tourism. And what will uborampe be if can become a gastronomy tourism later? Yeah, we can make a whole attraction. For example, during wedding ceremony, from the preparation until the reception, there's some event and some rituals. Yeah, for example, in the Javanese people, we have some rituals that food is part of that ritual. Yeah, as a uborampe. Yeah. So with the culture, we can combine with culture and then the habits. Yeah, for example, we have to drink a dawat, yeah, and much more food. So we can document it and then promote it as a gastronomy tourism. Yeah, I think that's very interesting. And people from other area or other regions can experience themselves, yeah, in that event or in that rituals, and can enjoy food that part of that uborampe. And this is very interesting. And we have a lot of wedding ceremony from many different ethnics and cultures and regions. Yeah. Okay, that's what that's my answer. Mr.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Maya. Are your question already answered by Professor Maya? Pak Yudit? Halo, Pak Yudit?
Halo.
Yeah, Professor Maya already provides 3 answers,
yes,
respectively to all of your questions.
Yes, thank you very much, Professor Maya, and then thank you for correct because I think I most use we call it include webinar about the umborampe. This is many kind of the umborampe, but the topic about the webinar the umborampe, we must to nobody knows about the umborampe. Maybe only the ethnic Jawa or Balinese, maybe how to I know, but this is the for the all gastronom Indonesian people or all chef, maybe it can be developed about the umborampe the next maybe, Prof.
Yeah, I think not only Java and Bali, but also in Sumatra.
Yes.
Sumatra. there's some rituals before wedding ceremony to serve some kind of foods, yeah, with symbolize
Yes.
the events or the philosophy of the foods, yeah. And that's very interesting, and I think it has to be passed on from generation to generation.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Maya.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. Maya and Pak Yudit. Okay, the second question from Vishnu Febri Wardana, a student of undergraduate program of Ambarmo Tourism Institute. So I will share the question to Madam Ningsi. The question is, as we know all that the gastronomy is closely related with culture. As a country with diverse culture and art, including gastronomy, how gastronomy become the identity and representing culture of our regions, and how we play our role as a tourism student. Please, Madam Ningsi Chandra.
Okay. As a student, because a young generation, considered as a millennial, they usually like to use social media such as Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So because Indonesia has 34 provinces and lots of traditional food in different areas or different destinations, if you go to that destination, because now the government encourage us to travel in Indonesia, di Indonesia saja, so it would be nice to do like a short video of what you eat in that destination, the traditional dishes, and also what is the history behind the dish or the food that you eat in that destination. It would help the audience or your followers of Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook to know more about the food in Indonesia and each destination that you visited. So it will be a great opportunity also for those foreigners who use social media and they see your video, short video about the food, and then they will be encouraged or motivated to know and to eat those dishes. Because in some country, we have Indonesian restaurant, like in New York, in London, in Malaysia, in Singapore. So they might come to the restaurant and say, "Hi, can I try this dish? Because I saw the video in the social media and it was presented nicely, and then this historical background and all how the taste is very well presented by the student from Stipram or from UBM or from any university, or even doesn't have to be a student to promote our food and cuisine in Indonesia, because there's so many of them variety we have here. I hope that's answer your questions, Pak Wisnu.
Yeah, Pak Wisnu. Hello.
Hello, Prof. Yeah, clear answer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Madam Ningsi and Pak Wisnu. The question number 3 comes from the audience who come directly to our seminar in our seminar room. Dr. Aldi Wisnumurti and Dr. and Professor Tony Hindratono. The question goes to Dr. Zahar and Fazli. It's very trivia question, Dr. Zahar and Fazli, regarding the most popular. What are the most popular food and beverages products during pandemic in Malaysia? Because Professor Maya presented jamu is very popular in Indonesia. If we go to www.trends.google.com, we found jamu and also many traditional ingredients scientifically proven to increase our body immune. Yeah, especially in Java Island and Indonesia in general. What happened to Malaysia, Dr. Zahar and Fazli? Please your answer, sir.
Dr. Zahar, sila dulu.
Dr. Zahar first.
Thank you, Dr. Tom. Actually, like I said earlier, there are so many back to basic. people start liking, there's two lah, start liking the traditional food, how it's being prepared. Like I said earlier, for example, a smoke or a salai fish, salai daging, all now is back into demand. And another one is a fusion of probably a Korean food or Japanese food, even a Western food, even you can find it in Starbucks now by our chef Datuk Fazli, pasta with lemak, masak lemak, salai daging. So it's something different, and it's been in demand and people like it. And of course, I think even Chef Azli also had mentioned earlier that people now very comfortable ordering online, and food are being prepared and delivered to their doorstep. Thank you, Dr. Tom.
Yeah, thank you.
To add
Zahar.
to Dr.
Chef
Zahar,
Fazli, please. Yes.
Okay, to add to Dr. Zahar, yes, I agree that people now they are. Since sometimes we are bored to eat, we like fast food. Then we go back to the we call back to the grassroots atau to the traditional food that we have, like the just mentioned just now, macam salai, these things. So they are popular. Like in Negeri Sembilan, in Kuala Lipis, so they are famous of this on the roadside now. It's already been done in the commercialized. Even from the chef also, they can also smoke through their combination oven atau combi oven to the smoker. So this is also a popular dish because of the flavor, and also they follow with the Western style of smoking the product. Example, some of the ribs ataupun some of the we call lamb leg, we smoke it. Then we bring in this element like with the duck, we have even the fish we smoke, then we make our own dish for this. And for other product, of course, like the normal we call staple food that is quite famous is like chicken rice. Is everyone like it? There is nasi lemak. Now before nasi lemak is actually it's just only on as a breakfast. Now like we can say that the nasi lemak you can order like 24 hours. You can eat morning, lunch, everything. So now it's like a promoting, but actually by tradition we have to still maintain actually in the food consumption to respect. Why? Because this is very important. Why nasi lemak is in the morning? Because we need energy from the peanut, from the anchovies, from the cucumber, and also from the rice, from the fatty, from the santan that is from the rice. Why? We need the energy. If we take it at the dinner time, it means that we are putting more energy to our body. Then after that, you are making your body to be extra. The diet is not there. That's why the philosophy of eating should be followed in terms of to educate the people, not just by selling and to get the profit, but to know that just to add in, because just now you mentioned about what we call popular food, but in the context of nutrition, we have to embed not to forget about that also.
Okay, thank you, Chef Fazli. I will add also very trivia question. Which one the most popular and prefer if Indonesian visit Malaysia, sate kacang or keropok lekor?
Keropok lekor.
Oh, keropok lekor. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the last question comes from Chef Rizky regarding the gastronomy delivery that highlighted by Chef Fazli in Malaysia regarding the concept of contactless food service and digital business, of course, delivery. Maybe you can give the short explanation regarding the business of gastronomy delivery in Malaysia during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay, when we talk about the contactless, means everything is there's no transaction of money, transfer of money hand to hand. So this is more on contactless, means that even the food ordering is through online, and also the payment also through online, all gateways, and also we only the part that we will receive is only from the delivery. So the contactless is another way of business, means that we do need to travel to carry a lot of money in hand, cash in hand, just using your phone. Then you can do the ordering very easy, just on the fingertip. And also the The things of food contactless or food delivery, they also have the we call limitation. Yeah, I can say that because some of the food they based on the radius of kilometer. Example like 5 to 15 kilometer, then they can cover. That's why some of the outlet they open another radius of kilometer to cover another area. Like example in Subang Jaya in Kuala Lumpur, okay, we have Subang Jaya, so they cover in the radius of 5 to 15 kilometers. Then another areas they open another cloud kitchen, then they cover for another radius of kilometers so that they can deliver. Even you can see the example like McDonald's, KFC, when they open their outlet in the radius of 5 kilometers, then they have their own food delivery. Will be covering about that around that radius of kilometer. So they will follow on this concept. Even for Food Panda, they also already open their small kitchen, club kitchen, and they deliver some of their food radius kilometer. Normally they open with the high number of population. Example in Kuala Lumpur, yes, if it's a slightly urban area away from, so they won't open yet because they have to see the numbers of population. Example, the population around there, around maybe 50,000. So they will open the area because they has potential buyer from there.
Yeah, thank you for the answer, Assistant Professor Safadri. Ladies and gentlemen, if there are any more questions, please. Hello? Okay, because I believe that the topic of the webinar today is about the gastronomy, and people start to go for lunch maybe because every time they hear about this kind of food, Indonesian food, traditional food, Malaysian food, sate kajang, nasi lemak, kopi o, teh tarik, and many kinds of foods from Kuala Lumpur and from Yogyakarta, from Jakarta also. I will check the chat forum. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I would like to remind to all of you to to complete the registration form because the link is already posted to the chat forums to make sure you fill the form, and then soon we will distribute all the e-certificate to all of you. Okay, since no more question comes to me, I would like to present the concluding remark for this session, keynote and invited speakers sessions. Gastronomic tourism can be concluded as a trip to an area that is associated with food as a recreational destination. And number two, the development of gastronomic tourism trend is in line with awareness of consuming healthy food. Number three, experiential gastronomic tourism, not only enjoying the taste of food, but also to gain more information about the history, culture, and daily practice of the local people in the related area so that food is created. Number four, therefore, the wider definition also makes the concept of culinary tourism is more flexible. Visitor can travel in agricultural areas because they have the historic quality processed foods and are associated with other tourism activities. And finally, during the COVID-19 pandemics, innovation are needed for gastronomy business, including recovery, plan, and delivery. Again, Madam Ningsi, Professor Azahari, Dr. Zahar, Professor Maya, and Assistant Professor Safadli, I would like to thank very much for your nice presentation and informative, also interesting topics you present to us, to all of us during the seminar events. And to all participants for the very active participation to this webinar event. Finally, please give all applause to the invited speaker. Thank you very much. I return the session to the Mr. Rizky Maulana. Please, Chef Rizky.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Tom, as the moderator. Thank you for leading us on this international webinar. This is the end of the question and answer session. Once again, thanks to all of the audience that had participated actively and for all of the keynote speaker and also the invited speakers. Thank you so much for the presentation. It was awesome. Well, and also I would like to say thank you to our partner and supporting us to Eljon TV. Thank you so much for supporting us and looking forward for the next collaboration. Thank you so much, Eljon TV. And now, before we end off this webinar, I would like to invite all of the invited speakers and also keynote speaker, all of the participants to join with us for a moment to take a picture. So please give us your best smile and don't forget to open your camera. Count on me, count on three. 3, 2, 1. One more time. 1, 2, 3. And the last one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much for all of the participants and all of the invited speakers and keynote speaker also. Finally, we get to the last session in this international webinar that is closing. Let's close this event by saying thank to God for His Almighty. May what we had conducted will be useful for us. One more time, I say thank you. If in guiding this event I made a mistake or offend someone's here, please forgive me. Remember, we are not the first, but the best. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next event. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh. Salam kenal Bu
Thank you,
Ningsih.
everyone. Thank you.
Kenal, Prof. Salam.
Kapan-kapan kita
Thank you so much.
kolaborasi
Ya,
ini. Yang dari Malaysia juga.
Ya,
From
Bu.
Malaysia.
Semoga ketemu. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Salam
Ya.
kenal buat semuanya.
Terima kasih.
Salam kenal. Sampai ketemu lagi teman-teman.
Ya.
Thank
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
See you.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum.
Lalu.
Wabarakatuh. See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Terima kasih Pak Tutut. Pak Tom. Pak Tutut. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Madam.